Hey guys, welcome to my quick breakdown of the Lakers versus the Hawks, and we'll also touch on the Rockets versus the Thunder on this beautiful Monday, February 1st, 2021. The NBA season is in full swing. We've had some wild results. I mean, just look at the end of the Nets Wizards last night, right? So exciting to see what we have in store for us tonight. And speaking of exciting results, the Lakers also coming off an exciting result, squeaking out of Boston with a 1 point win as Daniel Tice unable to make the layup. And the Lakers come away with the victory against their longtime rival, the Boston Celtics. So they won that game 96-95. This should be the last game of, I believe it's a 7 game road trip. Yes, a 7 game road trip. And they're heading down to Atlanta to take on a team that has been all over the place as far as expectations and results. Expectations and results have been a huge roller coaster for the Atlanta Hawks this year. Atlanta Hawks, obviously led by Trae Young, the young all-star player out of Oklahoma that can shoot from deep, just as well as Dame and Steph. Part of this new generation of guard that's lethal from anywhere from 35 feet in. So wonderful shot selection there for Trae Young. As any shot's a good shot for him as he's able to make it. Now, the Hawks' second leading scorer is DeAndre Hunter. Unfortunately, 17-point scorer will be missing tonight. That also impacts him on the defensive end a little bit. So a little bit of worries there. Hawks also have John Collins. Now remember, Collins and Young have kind of been um, I don't know about beefing, but they have not meshed as far as Collins' role in the offense and Trae Young's role in the offense. So that caused issues early in the season. They seem to have turned it around. But do we want to talk about some positives for John Collins? John Collins, absolutely terrible defender last year. Now, with the presence of Clint Capella, he's much better statistically, analytically, and you can see it on the floor. Much better at guarding the power forwards. I know that we like to make all these guys that are 6'10" and can shoot small ball centers, but he really seems to be much more apt to be a strong four. I think he's much better there defensively, and he can still stretch the floor and do all those things that help him out on the offensive end here. So speaking of Clint Capella coming in, averaging 13 points a game, hey, that's pretty good. 14 and a half rebounds per game. And he's given some of the best rim protection in the league. I think this addition of Capella cannot be understated. We didn't see him for a long time. Obviously, he sat out after the Rockets trade last year because he was injured. Then the Hawks did not play in the bubble. So it was a long time since we saw Clint Capella on the court. And I think that we kind of forgot how good he is defensively. They also helped out by Cam Reddish, who's a young player coming into his own. I actually like Cam's potential. I think he's going to continue to get better the next few years. And Herder, who I understand what they're going for. When they drafted him, they're hoping he'd be Clay, but he's not going to do that. What he's going to be is a spot shooter off the bench that's going to come in and kind of space the floor. And he gives you average defense, but because he's never going to be really a plus defender, I think he's going to really struggle to hold on to that starting role. Hawks will still be missing Bogdan Bogdanovic, but that's been most of the year, so that's not much of adjustment. Over on the Lakers side, I mean, everybody knows about the Lakers, right? Defending champions, LeBron James, Anthony Davis. Schrader's been a nice pickup, provides a lot of scoring off the bench. Montrezl Harrell, I think you can argue about his effectiveness, but when he's on, he plays really well. Kuzma is another one that's kind of, you know, controversial, especially among Lakers fans. And then they have super subs, THT, Taylor Horton Tucker, and Alex Caruso to help them out. So, this should be a pretty fun game to watch. Obviously, we're here because this is Run Pure Bets. We give out gambling advice. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a lean on the side, and that's that I like Atlanta plus the points. And basically, I'm just fading the Lakers coming off a big win at the end of a road trip in Atlanta. As we learned from the bubble and Lou Williams' trip, Magic City's still open. Could that be an issue? I can't say for sure, but you always got to take that into account here. But no, the end of the road trip's always hard. This has been a long road trip, and this is definitely not a game that they had circled, right? The big games were Philadelphia, Boston, a little bit of Milwaukee here. So this is the end of a road trip here. So I do like Atlanta to keep it close. But what my play is going to be here on this game, and it's not a lot of fun, and it can be stressful, but that's to go ahead and take the under in this game. I see a line of 218. That's what I put my play in at. I'm going under 218 here. And basically, I just have two teams. Okay, first of all, we know the Lakers are a great defensive team, right? I mean, that's how they won the championship. I know it's exciting to see LeBron score. I know that Anthony Davis, is a fantastic offensive weapon, and they can fill it up. But really, let's be honest, they won the title with their defense. They were able to lock down and get the stops. And I still think that, as good as the Clippers can be, as good as Milwaukee can be, the Lakers might have the best defense in the league when they put their minds to it, right? So this is a great team that defends well. Am I a little worried that they might be tired of not defend as well? Yeah, I am. But their pace is also isn't that fast. Now, the surprise team on the defensive end is the Atlanta Hawks. Top 10 in defensive rating. Something I did not see coming into the season as I cashed ticket after ticket the last season on the Atlanta Hawks overs because they could score, Trey could put it up, but they could not defend. And I think that's because they were running the mistake of trying to have John Collins as a small ball five, and it just wasn't working. He could not provide adequate rim protection. We already know that Trey Young's not that good a defender, right? So you need to hide him. Herter, I think, was struggling in his role as a lead defender. I think coming off the bench, you get a little more out of him defensively as he's going against players with maybe not the same offensive skill sets. But really, the Atlanta defense, it comes down to the addition of Clint Capella and how well he's been protecting that rim for them, not allowing easy layups, forcing the teams to kick it out, and it makes it so much easier for everyone else without having to collapse to the middle. To go ahead and stop these drives. They're able to stay home on these three-point shooters, and we've seen the difference as teams have not been able to run up the score on the Atlanta Hawks this year. So, yeah, top 10 defense. A couple other stats really to support this play here. Let's look at the over and under. Lakers, 21 games so far this season, 7-14 to the under. All right. Atlanta, 5-13 to the under of their 18 games. So 27% of the games have gone over for the Atlanta Hawks. So, only 3-5 at home in the under. Lakers on the road, the under it has hit 11 times out of the 13 games. So I think that we have a lot of, we look at the tape, we can see how this game's going under. We look at the stats, we see how this game's going under. So my free play for this game is not, it's not fun, right? Unders aren't fun, especially not in the NBA. But I'm going under 218 here, guys. And then let's go on to the next game that I'd like to talk about tonight, and that's the Rockets traveling to Houston. Traveling Houston, excuse me, traveling to Oklahoma City to take on the Thunder. Hey, Thunder are 8-10 this year, right? Didn't we all pencil them as a lottery worst team in the league and everything? Boy, they're really getting a lot out of these players. And where do they do it? They do it on the defensive end. I really like this team defensively, right? Lou Dort, he made his name in the bubble, locking down Harden, but he's been locking down wings all year. Just a great defensive player. If he can ever get a 3-point shot, maybe, I don't know about an all-star, but I mean, he just needs to get that 3-point shot. He's going to be such a good player because if he continues to defend like this, he's going to be a terror. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander learned a lot from his time in Chris Paul last year, and I really felt that he went from being, a below average to average defender to an above average defender, and we're seeing it this year in the results. Al Horford slowed down a little, not the player that he used to be. Still smart player, knows where to be, and even if he's not as fast, his mind's still fast, and he's directing his teammates to be in the right positions. Um, I like Diallo as a defender, and I like Baisley as a defender. I mean, this team can defend, right? Now, let's go ahead and take a look at the Rockets, who we had all pretty much written off, right? Oh, without James Harden, they're going to be nothing, they're writing the season off. They're tanking too. Nobody told Coach Steven Silas that, and nobody told this roster that because these Rockets are on a 5-game win streak. They're now 509-9, and is it on the strength of their offense? No. They've been a great defensive team too. Number one in defensive rating since the Harden trade. Was that a surprise? I mean, it's almost like a joke and something that we would say sarcastically, but hey, the numbers prove it out. And let's look at why, right? Harden, fantastic scorer, top 5 scorer in the league, does beautiful things on the offensive end. Who do they replace him with? Victor Oladipo, who right? Not the same on the offensive end, but such a better defender. Harden's pretty good in the post. He can get lazy on the wings. He's not always playing the passing lanes. Oladipo is a great on-ball defender, right? And then you combine that with Eric Gordon, another great on-ball defender. So what does that allow them to do? John Wall now gets the slide to, cover a three-point shooter, not the point of attack, because he's not that strong defending the point of attack, right? So, but now we're taking that away. What can he do now? He can sit in the passing lanes, disrupt, and get steals. He's either disrupting plays and just getting people out of their rhythm, or getting that straight steal, transition offense. And we all know how good John Wall is in transition. He's getting either a layup or an assist, right? One of the fastest players in the league, still, even coming off the injury. So I love what I've seen from this team so far. Christian Wood, right? He's not the best defender, but he's doing pretty well in this system. The effort is there, and I also like the defensive effort that we're getting from David Nwaba and Jason Tate. Even Sterling Brown, when he's out there, is bringing it. Daniel House is back in the lineup. He can bring it too defensively. And the thing is, now we have everybody on the same page. They talked about it. And that was what was so fun about having John Wall and DeMarcus Cousins out there. They didn't say the right thing. They went right after Harden and said, hey, it was really hard for this team when we had 14 guys on the same page and one guy who didn't want to be here, wasn't buying in, and was ruining the chemistry. And they were on a mission to prove, that they didn't need Harden and that he was messing things up, and he disrespected them by not thinking that this team could win. And they've gone out, and you know what? They put their money where their mouth is. They've backed up their talk. They've won 5 in a row. So where do I lean in this game? I took the points in the earlier game, but on this game, I would actually lay the 5, but that's not a lean. I hate to do it again, but the official play is going to be the under. I have two teams that are just playing great defensively. The totals are sitting at 224. The Rockets average 111 points per game. Thunder average 107, right? Now, normally, when I get these, that's the exact total. Why is this 6 points higher? I don't know why. I personally don't see it. So when I'm able to bet under 224 in this game, when you just have 218 as the team averages, I mean that's quite a discrepancy. And then I've just outlined how good these teams are defensively. So, and if anything, the Thunder are very prone to just going through spurts of not doing well offensively. When Gilgeous-Alexander goes to the bench, they can have problems. I do like George Hill as a scorer, and he's probably actually going to get traded because I think he does help a contender. I think that losing him from Milwaukee has hurt a lot. But not to go too far into that, I just think that this team, the Thunder, they can go through scoreless spurts, and that really hurts when you're trying to go for an over on the total. So, I know these aren't the sexiest picks, and I know they're not even fun to root in. Maybe you want to just place these bets and maybe watch some other games where you can actually root for the ball to go through the hoop. But I think on both games that we've talked about tonight, the sharpest plays is going to be the under. So I know betting unders in the NBA it can be some of the most stressful things that you can do. But in this case, I think it's going to be profitable. So I want to thank everyone for joining us. This is the type of content you're going to get over at Run Pure Bets. On Wednesday, I think this is the type of video that I'll be doing is for subscribers only. Tyler's going to go ahead and be doing videos. We got JJ doing college basketball videos. We got Matt Dixon, Twatty Latte doing college basketball videos. Jay's going to give you out a UFC private video this week for Run Pure Bet subscribers, and we know how well that he does in the UFC. And you'll have Tyler and I going ahead and knocking out. And when Tyler's on, I'm going to hit the sides. I'm going to hit the totals. I'm going to give you good, solid, actionable advice there. And this kid is the prop guru, the prop king. I mean, he's just been coming through for as long as I've known him. It's just amazing how far advanced he is as a professional gambler at this age. So I wanted to thank everyone for joining. If you are not a member, please head over to Run Pure Bets. At least check us out. See the content that we can offer you. Only $60 a month if you want to combine it to the DFS side. It's $100 a month, and this DFS knowledge is just fantastic. I mean, I just started doing DFS. I just log in, get the core plays, put them on. I'm not cashing 100K, right? But I'm at least getting my money back, skin in the game, playing again every night, and I'm just waiting for that big breakthrough. So, and I don't know a lot about DFS. Like I said, I do sides and totals. I do team. I do things like team defense, watching people set screens. I mean, this doesn't help you statistically, but these DFS guys can help you statistically. So head over to runpuresports.com, head over to runpurebets.com. Thank you for joining me. Let's go unders. Let's see a lot of missed shots. Let's see some slow pace. Run pure.